Hey guys, All in Crypto here, and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, for another YouTube video. It's going to be a bit of a different one. Today we're going to be talking about XRP and Ripple. Now, you guys will know, certainly if you've been following my crypto journey, that I have a very love-hate relationship with XRP as somebody that bought XRP in 2018, 2019, and ultimately abandoned it from an investment point of view. I'm going to annoy people with a lot of what I'm going to say in this video, most likely, because one thing that I found about the XRP army is they are zealous, loyal, and very passionate about XRP, and I applaud them for that. But I'm just being real and honest. In 2018, 2019, I was a big XRP believer. You know, I was a big Ripple kind of investor, and it was actually one of my largest positions back then. Now, eventually, I pivoted from XRP and got rid of my XRP and moved it into other altcoins. Altcoins like Ethereum, altcoins like Cardano. You know the kind of altcoins that did well in the last bull market. And that was a great decision. And actually, I think that XRP was very much hindered by the lawsuit from the SEC. Now, we are going to be discussing that because there are rumors that this is coming to an end. And actually, the buying that we're seeing is insiders front running this. So we are going to take a look at that. We'll look at some comments from Jeremy Hogan, who is a very well-established lawyer who I think is looking into, or he is a very well-known lawyer. I'm not sure about his credentials as a lawyer, but he's a lawyer that's very well known for looking into the XRP, SEC, or Ripple Labs, Brad and Chris, versus the SEC case. And ultimately, you know, there are some rumblings that this may be coming to an end. But what I want to do is, so I've told you now that I essentially got out of XRP. Is there, or is now the time to maybe be reinvesting in it? And that's what we're going to look at, because I think XRP could actually surprise many people. And we're going to get this from technicals, not necessarily fundamentals, although the fundamentals for XRP are somewhat strong. Not that long ago, we covered the fact that these guys, Ripple, were who the Bank of England were actually looking at to help them facilitate or as a kind of researcher for, you know, a digital monetary system. But technically, and we'll talk about this once we've covered the news, Ripple could do a similar thing to what it did going into 2000. It's already done a similar thing to what it did going into 2007. And we know just how well it did then. And potentially you are, or maybe looking at some kind of a repeat of this. This structure is a positive one. You can see it played over here. And are we going to get a similar thing take place? That's what we're going to be discussing in this video. And I do think, even though I'm certainly not an XRP maxi, or I don't fit into the kind of XRP crowd necessarily, I do think there is a genuine opportunity that XRP presents, depending on how things go. So obviously the lawsuit, if that comes out in their favor, and we'll go over a number of things that suggest maybe that will. And of course, if structurally this plays out and you see a repeat of what you saw in 2017, I don't think it's going to be to the same percentage by any stretch of the imagination. But then again, it doesn't need to be. And actually, we could maybe even look at this from a risk to reward point of view. You know, in regards to if you wanted to trade this, if you wanted to go spot long, where you're going to look to go. Now, obviously, you don't want that as your risk, but we'll talk about all that. So strap yourselves in, guys, if that sounds good. Let's start off with the news. We saw XRP have a fantastic run the other day, and it was all over the place. XRP cryptocurrency jumps as investors hope Ripple will win a legal battle with the SEC. XRP, a cryptocurrency that is closely associated, good choice of words there, guys, with Ripple, surged over 11% on Wednesday as investors grew hopeful the firm would win its legal battle with the SEC. Monica Long, president of Ripple, told CNBC Wednesday she is very hopeful about achieving a positive resolution to the SEC's case, with an outcome expected sometime this year. So I have to say this, as somebody that's held XRP for longer than most of the people that may decide to leave shitty comments in the comment section, you know, maybe that feel some kind of way or feel like I'm bashing XRP. I'm absolutely not. You know, as somebody that's held it for a long time, it has, from an investment point of view, in comparison with the rest of the cryptocurrency market being nothing short of disappointing. Now, I know this was probably due to the lawsuit. I know there's a number of reasons. There's always a reason why something underperforms, certainly if you're holding it. But XRP, you can see it's been at this price. In fact, it was even round about this price back in 2017. So you've had a price action here for nearly 6 years, and it hasn't really moved. It's had these kind of spurts, but it's not really gone up in a Bitcoin-esque, fashion. It's kind of just stayed very stagnant. But it did do, to its credit, a similar thing back here, and then performed all of a sudden. And this is what this video is really about, telling you that could come again. Okay, not a guarantee, not financial advice, just something that you may want to keep an eye on moving forward. So the SEC accuses Ripple of breaching US securities laws by selling XRP without first registering it as a security. Ripple contests the SEC's allegations, stating XRP shouldn't be considered a security. Goes on to talk about a number of things. It talks about how, what the kind of ins and outs of it are. Mentions Brad Garlinghouse. It was all over the news, guys. Of course, the token jumped 20%, and whenever a token's doing something like that, it becomes very popular news. Now, Jeremy Hogan, who is an attorney who's been covering this, Ripple's finally filed the Voyager bankruptcy judge decision. The judge used abnormally strong language, stating that the US regulators themselves cannot even agree on what criteria to use to decide whether a crypto is a security. Fair notice. So this is interesting. This is obviously what he's referring to in regards to the strong language. Second, just a defendant have highlighted in connection with their fair notice defense. C goes on to state a number of numbers and where you can find it. Judge Wiles found that cryptocurrency market participants operate in a regulatory environment that at best can be described as highly uncertain, absolutely, in which regulators themselves cannot seem to agree as to whether cryptocurrencies are commodities that may be subject to regulations by the CFTC. I think XLM is actually working with the CFTC. Take that for whatever you will, guys. Or whether they are securities that are subject to securities law or neither, or even on what criteria should be applied in making the decision. An uncertainty that has persisted despite the fact that the cryptocurrency exchanges have been around for a number of years. Very interesting. You also have this from Jeremy Hogan. The SEC has proved that you had a reasonable expectation of profits from Ripple's efforts, and the judge just struck the SEC's only expert witness on that subject. So now, how the heck can the SEC prove reasonable reliance? Who will testify? Just think out loud. And he talks about how they kind of dismissed the expert witness. The same level of intellectual rigor that characterizes the participants of an expert in the related field. Although expert number one may rely on his practical experience and specialized knowledge, if he is relying solely or primarily on experience, then he must explain how that experience leads to the conclusion reached, why that experience is sufficient basis for the opinion, and how the experience is reliably based. So it talks about a number of things, that are going on. This is also another one. In recent order, the judge cited the Marine Bank v. Weaver case at least 3 times when discussed what a reasonable XRP purchase believed when they bought XRP. It's a Supreme Court case which asked whether the thing sold was commonly thought of as a security. They're just not. It just doesn't seem to me like the SEC have a really good, strong case here. Otherwise, they'd have nailed it by now. If you look at what the SEC, and this makes me think, right, and I'm going to put myself into the kind of XRP dreamers mindset, right, that is this a kind of deploy? Is this a kind of tactic to get the masses away and not thinking about XRP? Because if you look at, like, for example, we saw at the start of the year, the SEC went after Kraken. Instantly, Kraken went, okay, we'll settle. We don't want to fight you. Whereas the fact that this has dragged on for this long without the SEC being able to prove their point, To me, that's quite promising. But what do I know? I'm not a lawyer. I'm not trying to be one. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just a guy who's passionate about the crypto space and wants to see it succeed. Also, this is from Brad Garlinghouse. It's only Tuesday, but shaping up to be a not so great week for the SEC. This ruling, Voyager and a Grayscale. Yesterday's opinions from the court and Ripple SEC's proposed expert opinion, and we spoke about the fact that that was essentially dismissed. So coming on to the XRP price, fundamentally, it's quite sound XRP. You know, it's, and I've always said this about XRP and XLM. They are, one thing I like about cryptos is when they're different. Yeah, we can all, or we can't all build a layer one, but we can all, you know, a layer one's been done, you know, layer two's been done. XRP and XLM really went after a specific niche, and this is what I mean. I'm not an XRP hater. Tried to sort of build a product to fit it, and they've done a fantastic job of that. You know, like I say, we saw the Bank of England look to actually utilize Ripple in their experience with building sort of digital rails. So what I want to do is, the interesting thing for me from a price point of view as a technical analyzer is this structure that you've got here is, we'll go ahead and delete that one. Very, very similar to the current structure that you're in. Now, how would you play this from a trade or investment point of view? I will speculate on that in just a moment. You can actually see just how similar these structures are to one another. And actually, this is a you have seen this structure in a number of cases, but you can see the kind of ebb and flows. I'm not going to spend all time matching it up perfectly, guys. You know, hopefully you're not going to bounce along here for that long, and I don't think you necessarily will. But you can see just how similar these structures are. You know? And are we going to see a repeat? Well, maybe. And actually, you know, I could, and I'm going to say this, certainly see an over $5 XRP price, which is nearly a 10x plus from where it is. You could see something like that take place just on the lawsuit being won. Because then they get all their partnerships back. They have regulatory clarity, which is hard to come by in the kind of world that we live in. You know, they become, in some ways, an institutional option through that regulatory clarity. And that could potentially be what this is all about. You know, like I say, the fact that the SEC lawsuit has gone on for this long makes me think, maybe this is a way to get the masses away from XRP, or maybe, you know, there's some, maybe that suggests that the SEC don't really have a leg to stand on. So just some food for thought. I'm not going to give any price predictions. Anybody throwing a price prediction is literally just closing their eyes and chucking a dart at a dartboard. You have no idea really where this price could get to. You know, what's in the realms of possibility? $1 trillion? Maybe. Who knows? But what I can say is watch this, because you're doing a very similar thing to what you did over here. It's all coming to a head on the sort of legal battle side of things. And actually, this would be a huge win for not just XRP, but the cryptocurrency market at large. Don't get tricked into these little pumps, by the way. You can see just how much this has fizzled. I mean, that was a great week for XRP, by the way, guys. I wish we had been trading this. But you can see actually it's fizzled nearly half. And this occurred on not so huge volume. You know, you can see really low volume here, which shows a lack of kind of commitment. You'll see a similar thing on the daily. Okay, it was an elevated level of volume, but it wasn't really anything that spectacular. However, I am noticing a lot of volume when the price actually doesn't really move much, which suggests to me that there's somebody's buying here, guys. So yeah, that's largely all I've got for you in this video. If you've enjoyed the content, a like is always appreciated, so is a comment. Just a bit of a different one, sharing some thoughts on XRP. Let me know yours in the comment section. If you've enjoyed this content, like is always appreciated, so is a comment, and I'll catch you in the next. Thanks a lot for watching, ladies and gentlemen. See you in the next one.